Wild Animal Kingdom. African elephants are the largest land animal on Earth. They're slightly larger than their Asian cousins and can be identified by their larger ears that look somewhat like the continent of Africa. Elephant ears radiate heat to help keep these large animals cool. But sometimes the African heat is too much. Elephants are fond of water and enjoy showering by sucking water into their trunks and spraying it all over themselves. Afterwards, they often spray their skin with a protective coating of dust. An elephant's trunk is actually a long nose used for smelling, breathing, trumpeting, drinking, and also for grabbing things, especially a potential meal. The trunk alone contains about 100,000 different muscles. African elephants have two finger-like features on the end of their trunk that they can use to grab small items. African lions. Lions are the two only cats that live in groups, which are called prides. Prides are family units that may include up to 3 males, a dozen or so females, and their young. All of a pride's lionesses are related, and female cubs typically stay with the group as they age. Young males eventually leave and establish their own prides by taking over a group headed by another male. Only male lions boast manes, the impressive fringe of long hair that encircles their heads. Males defend the pride's territory, which may include some 100 square miles of grassland, scrub, or open woodlands. These intimidating animals mark the area with urine, roar to warn intruders, and chase off animals that encroach their turf. Female lions are the pride's primary hunters. They often work together to prey upon antelopes, zebras, wildebeest, and other large animals of the open grasslands. Many of these animals are faster than lions, so teamwork pays off. Tiger. Tigers are easily recognized by its coat of reddish-orange with dark stripes. The tiger is the world's largest cat. The big cat's tail is 3 feet long. On an average, the big cat weighs 450 pounds, about the same as 8 10-year-old kids. It stands 3 feet tall with teeth 4 inches long and claws as long as house keys. A female tiger gives birth to a litter of 3 or 4 cubs, who she will care for until they are a year and a half old. These cubs quadruple in size during their first month. The powerful predator generally hunts alone, able to bring down prey such as deer and antelope. Tigers wait until dark to hunt. The tiger sprints to an unsuspecting animal, usually pulling it off its feet with its teeth and claws. If the prey animal is large, the tiger bites its throat to kill it. Smaller prey is usually killed when the tiger breaks its neck. Tigers live far apart from each other. A tiger knows if it's in another tiger's territory based on the trees around him. Each tiger marks the trees in its area with urine and special scratches. Burmese python. The Burmese python, with their beautifully patterned skin, rapid growth rate, and generally docile disposition, may be best known as the largest snake among reptile owners. Unfortunately, these potentially huge constrictors are often poorly cared for and are frequently released into the wild. Attacks on handlers, sometimes deadly, are not uncommon. Native to the jungles and grassy marshes of Southeast Asia, Burmese pythons are among the largest snake on Earth. They are capable of reaching 23 feet or more in length and weighing up to 200 pounds with a girth as big as a telephone pole. Burmese pythons are carnivores, surviving primarily on small mammals and birds. They have poor eyesight and stalk prey using chemical receptors in their tongues and heat sensors along the jaws. They kill by constriction, grasping a victim with their sharp teeth, coiling their bodies around the animal, and squeezing until it suffocates. They have stretchy ligaments in their jaws that allow them to swallow their food whole. Okapi. Okapi are the only living relative of the giraffe. In the okapi, the tongue can measure between 14 to 18 inches long, and they can lick their own ears and eyelids. Unlike their giraffe relatives, okapi are not found in the open savannas, but instead they live in the dense rainforest. Currently, they are only found in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but in the recent past, they were also found in the Semliki forest of Uganda. Okapi are hunted for meat and skins. A major threat to this species is habitat loss due to logging and human settlement. Okapi's gestation lasts between 14 and 16 months. A female okapi gives birth to one calf. This calf stays in one place for the first 6 to 9 weeks to avoid leopards. Okapis mostly travel by themselves, but they still have ways of communicating with others of their kind. A scent gland on each foot leaves behind a sticky, tar-like substance wherever they have walked, marking their territory and leaving their personal perfume behind. Hippo. Hippopotamuses love water, which is why the Greeks named them the river horse. Hippos spend up to 16 hours a day submerged in rivers and lakes to keep their massive bodies cool under the hot African sun. Hippos are graceful in water, good swimmers, and can hold their breath underwater for up to 5 minutes. However, they are often large enough to simply walk or stand on the lake floor or lie in the shallows. Their eyes and nostrils are located high on their heads, which allows them to see and breathe while mostly submerged. Hippos also bask in the shoreline and secrete an oily red substance, which gave rise to the myth that they sweat blood. The liquid is actually a skin moistener and sunblock that may also provide protection against germs. Hippo calves weigh nearly 100 pounds at birth and can suckle on land or water by closing their ears and nostrils. Each female has only one calf every 2 years. Soon after birth, mother and young join schools that provide some protection against crocodiles, lions, and hyenas. Giraffe. Giraffes are the world's tallest mammals, thanks to their towering legs and long necks. A giraffe's legs alone are taller than many humans, about 6 feet. These long legs allow giraffes to run as fast as 35 miles an hour over short distances and cruise comfortably at 10 miles an hour over longer distances. Giraffes use their height to get advantage and browse on leaves and buds in treetops that other animals can't reach. Even the giraffe's tongue is long. The 21-inch tongue helps them pluck tasty morsels from branches. Giraffes eat most of the time and, like cows, regurgitate food and chew it as cud. A giraffe eats hundreds of pounds of leaves each week and must travel miles to find enough food. Female giraffes give birth standing up. Their young endure a rather rude welcome to the world by falling more than 5 feet to ground at birth. These infants can stand in half an hour and run with their mothers an incredible 10 hours after birth. Penguin. Emperors are the largest of penguins. An average bird stands some 45 inches tall. These flightless animals live on Antarctic ice and in the frigid surrounding waters. Penguins employ physiological adaptations and cooperative behaviors in order to deal with an incredibly harsh environment where wind chills can reach minus 76 degrees Fahrenheit. They huddle together to escape wind and conserve warmth. Individuals take turns moving to the group's protected and relatively toasty interior. Once a penguin has warmed up a bit, it will move to the perimeter of the group so that others can enjoy the protection from the icy elements. Emperor penguins spend the long winters on the open ice and even breed during this harsh season. Females lay a single egg and then promptly leave it behind. They undertake an extended hunting trip that lasts some 2 months. Depending on the extent of the ice pack, females may need to travel some 50 miles just to reach the open ocean, where they will feed on fish, squid, and krill. At sea, emperor penguins can dive 1,850 feet, deeper than any other bird, and stay under for more than 20 minutes. Rhino. Both black and white rhinoceroses are actually gray. There are different types, but not in the color, but in lip shape. The black rhino has a pointed upper lip, where its right relative has a square lip. The difference in lip shape is related to the animal's diet. Black rhinos are browsers that get most of their sustenance from eating trees and bushes. They use their lips to pluck leaves and fruit from the branches. White rhinos graze on grasses, walking with their enormous heads and squared lips lowered to the ground. Except for females and their offspring, black rhinos are solitary. Females reproduce only every 2.5 to 5 years. Their single calf does not live on its own until it's about 3 years old. Black rhinos feed at night and during the glooming hours of dawn. Under the hot African sun, they take cover by lying in the shade. Rhinos are also wallowers. They often find a suitable watering hole and roll in its mud, coating their skin with a natural bug repellent and sunblock. Rhinos have sharp hearing and a keen sense of smell. They may find one another by following the trail of scent each enormous animal leaves behind it on the landscape. Goliath bird eater. The Goliath bird eater is the king of spiders, weighing up to 6 ounces with a leg span of nearly a foot. This tarantula is the largest arachnid on the planet. Goliaths don't usually eat birds, but they're big enough to be able to, and occasionally they do. Bird eater came from an 18th century engraving that showed another kind of tarantula eating a hummingbird, which gave the name bird eater. Unlike jumping spiders, Goliath bird eaters have bad eyesight. They rely instead on modified leg hairs, sensitive to vibration, to warn them of danger. If a predator gets too close, the Goliath has an unusual weapon, harpoon-shaped hairs called urticating hairs, tipped with stinging barbs. The spider rubs its legs together, launching a shower of miniature missiles into the air. The hairs connect with the would-be assailant's eyes and skin, sending it scurrying. Female Goliaths use those same urticating hairs to cover their large egg sacs, which hold between 50 and 150 eggs. Hatchlings stay close to their mothers until they're fully matured at 2 or 3 years. Plains zebra. No animal has more distinctive coat than the zebra. Each animal's stripes are as unique as fingerprints. No two are exactly alike, although each of the 3 species has its own general pattern. Why do zebras have stripes at all? Scientists aren't too sure, but many theories center it as a utility as some form of camouflage. The patterns may make it difficult for predators to identify a single animal from a running herd and distort distance at dawn and dusk. Or they may dissuade insects that recognize only large areas of single-colored fur or act as a kind of natural sunscreen. Because of their uniqueness, stripes may also help zebras recognize one another. Giant panda has an insatiable appetite for bamboo. A typical animal eats half the day, a full 12 out of every 24 hours, and relieves itself dozens of times a day. It takes 28 pounds of bamboo to satisfy a giant panda's dietary needs, and it hungrily plucks the stalks with elongated wrist bones that function rather like thumbs. Pandas will sometimes eat birds or rodents as well. Wild pandas live only in remote mountainous regions in central China. These high bamboo forests are cool and wet, just like pandas like it. They might climb as high as 1,300 feet to feed on higher slopes in the summer seasons. Pandas are often seen eating in a relaxed sitting posture with their hind legs stretched out before them. They may appear sedated, but they're skilled tree climbers and efficient swimmers. The warthogs are members of the same family as domestic pigs, but present a much different appearance. These sturdy hogs are not among the world's most aesthetically pleasing animals. Their large flat heads are covered with warts, which are actually protective bumps. Warthogs also sport 4 sharp tusks. They are mostly bald, but they do have some sparse hair and a thicker mane on their backs. Though warthogs appear ferocious, they're basically grazers. They eat grasses and plants, but also use their snouts to dig or root for roots or bulbs. When startled or threatened, warthogs can be surprisingly fast, running at speeds up to 30 miles an hour. Warthogs are adaptable and able to go long periods without water, as much as several months in the dry season. When the water is available, warthogs will seek it and often submerge to cool down. They will also wallow in mud for the same purpose, to gain relief from insects. Birds also aid these hogs in battle with insects. Oxpeckers and other species sometimes ride along on their warthog hosts, feeding on the tiny creatures invading their hides. Koala. Though often called the koala bear, this cuddly animal is not a bear at all. It is a marsupial, or pouched mammal. After giving birth, a female koala carries her baby in her pouch for about 6 months. When the infant emerges, it rides on its mother's back or clings to her belly, accompanying her everywhere until it's about 1 year old. When not asleep, a koala feeds on eucalyptus leaves, especially at night. Koalas do not drink much water, and they get most of their moisture from these leaves. Each animal eats a tremendous amount for its size, about 2.5 pounds of leaves a day. Koalas even store snacks of leaves in pouches in their cheeks. A special digestive system, a long gut, allows koalas to break down the tough eucalyptus leaves and remain unharmed by their poison. Koalas eat so many of these leaves, and they take on a distinctive odor from their oil remnants of cough drops. The gorilla. Mountain gorillas have longer hair and shorter arms than their lowerland cousins. They also tend to be a bit larger than other gorillas. Gorillas can climb trees, but are usually found on the ground in communities of up to 30 individuals. These troops are organized according to fascinating social structures. Troops are led by one dominant older male, often called a silverback, because of the swath of silver hair that adorns his otherwise dark fur. Troops also include several other young males, some females, and their offspring. Female gorillas give birth to one infant after a pregnancy of nearly 9 months. Unlike their powerful parents, newborns are tiny, weighing 4 pounds, and are able to only cling to their mother's fur. These infants ride around on their mother's back from the age of 4 months through to the first 2 or 3 years of their lives. Young gorillas from 3 to 6 years old remind human observers of children. Much of their day is spent in play, climbing trees, chasing one another, and swinging from branches. The Arctic fox is an incredibly hardy animal that can survive frigid Arctic temperatures as low as minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit in the treeless lands where it makes its home. It has furry soles, short ears, and a short muzzle, all important adaptations to the chilly climate. Arctic foxes live in burrows, and in a blizzard they may tunnel into the snow to create shelter. Arctic foxes have beautiful white, sometimes a bluish-gray coat that acts as a very effective winter camouflage. The natural hues allow the animal to blend into the tundra's obsequious snow and ice. When the seasons change, the fox's coat turns as well, adopting a brown or gray appearance that provides cover among the summer tundra's rocks and plants. These colorings help foxes to effectively hunt rodents, birds, and even fish. But in winter, prey can be scarce on the ground. At such times, Arctic fox will follow the region's perimeter predator, a polar bear, to eat the leftover scraps from its kills. Foxes will also eat vegetables when they are available. The great white shark. Great whites are the largest predatory fish on Earth. They grow to an average of 15 feet in length, through specimens exceeding 20 feet and weighing up to 5,000 pounds have been recorded. They have a slate gray upper body to blend in with the rocky coastal sea floor, but they get their name from universally white underbellies. They're streamlined torpedo-shaped swimmers with powerful tails that can propel them through the water at speeds of up to 15 miles per hour. They can even leave the water completely breaching like whales when attacking prey from underneath. Found in cool coastal waters throughout the world, there is no reliable data on great whites' population. However, scientists agree that their numbers are decreasing due to overfishing and accidental catching in gill nets. Among other factors, they are considered a vulnerable species. The polar bear. Polar bears roam in the Arctic ice sheets and swim in regions' coastal waters. They're very strong swimmers, and their large front paws, which they use to paddle, are slightly webbed. Some polar bears have been seen swimming hundreds of miles from land, though they probably cover most of that distance by floating on sheets of ice. Polar bears live in one of the planet's coldest environments and depend on their thick coat of insulated fur, which covers a warming layer of fat. Fur even grows on the bottom of their paws, which protects against cold surfaces and provides a good grip on ice. The bear's stark white coat provides camouflage in surrounding snow, but under their fur, polar bears have black skin, the better to soak the sun's warming rays. Polar bears are attractive and appealing, but they're powerful predators that do not typically fear humans, which can make them dangerous. Near human settlements, they often acquire a taste for garbage, bringing bears and humans into perilous proximity. The bald eagle. The bald eagle, with its snowy feathered, not bald head and white tail, is the proud national bird symbol of the United States. Yet the bird was nearly wiped out there. For many decades, bald eagles were hunted for sport and for the protection of fishing grounds. Pesticides like DDT also wreaked havoc on eagles and other birds. These chemicals collect in fish, which make up most of the eagle's diet. They weakened the birds' eggshells and severely limited their ability to reproduce. Though their numbers have grown in much of their range, bald eagles remain most abundant in Alaska and Canada. These powerful birds of prey use their talons to fish, but they get many of their meals by scavenging, carrion, or stealing the kills of other animals. Such thievery famously prompted Ben Franklin to argue against the bird's nomination as the United States national symbol. They live near water and favor coasts and lakes where fish are plentiful, though they will also snare and eat small mammals. I hope you enjoyed today's education program on mammals. See you next time.